Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into something pretty extraordinary. We're looking at this wild intersection where two, ancient and really powerful magical worlds collide, Greek and Egyptian.
Yeah, it's quite a setup. The demigods and magicians, not just knowing about each other, but actually fighting side by side or sometimes against these weird hybrid threats right there in New York City, or even over Governor's Island during a hurricane, no less.
Exactly. And the sources we're drawing on for this deep dive, they're really something else. They're like firsthand accounts full of these vivid details about what actually happens when these, very distinct mythologies smash together.
Right. It's not just theory. It's based on documented encounters.
And our mission today, basically to unpack this whole concept of hybrid magic, which sounds both fascinating and honestly a bit terrifying. We want to figure out who could even try something like this, mixing these powerful forces and what it all means for mortals, for the gods, for everybody.
There are some genuinely surprising moments in these accounts. It's definitely not your standard mythology lesson.
Okay, so let's dive right in. Where does this story really kick off? You mentioned New York.
Yeah, it starts with Annabeth Chase, Greek demigod, daughter of Athena. And she's having, just a truly awful day.
Huh. Relatable, even for a demigod.
Totally. She bombed an architecture internship interview. She's swamped with schoolwork because, saving the world plays havoc with your grades. And then the final straw, she steps right in cow manure.
Oh, no. Classic. So not exactly feeling heroic at this point.
Not at all. So she's just trying to get to the subway, head uptown, feeling miserable, and then she sees it. Something that just doesn't fit any category she knows.
Okay, tell me about this it.
It's this creature on the subway track, described as like a lion and a wolf sort of fused together and jammed backwards into a giant hermit crab shell.
A lion, wolf, hermit crab. Okay, that's unique.
Right. And the really weird part, it's glowing with this red aura, and it's covered in this shimmering mix of Greek letters and Egyptian hieroglyphs.
Ah, so there's the hybrid element right away, Greek and Egyptian.
Exactly. And Annabeth, who knows her Greek monsters inside out, she's just completely baffled. She mentally nicknames it Crabby, but she has zero idea what it actually is or where it came from.
That confusion itself tells you something, right? If she doesn't recognize it.
Precisely. It signals that the rules are changing. Something new is happening. And then, just as she's trying to process this, the subway doors close and someone else bursts onto the scene.
And this is where the Egyptian side comes in.
Yep. Enter Sadie Kane, young British magician, House of Life trainee, combat boots, carries a staff, and has a, let's say, very direct way of dealing with monsters.
How direct?
Like blasting some other weird creature described as a dog tadpole thing with golden hieroglyphs that explode on impact.
Okay, so instant culture clash on the subway platform.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Annabeth's world is all Olympians and monsters from Greek myth. Sadie's talking about hosting guides inside mortals, dealing with magical baboons, cat goddesses, even apparently dwarfs in Speedo.
Dwarfs and Speedos, right. That's quite the introduction to Egyptian magic.
It's a lot for Annabeth to take in, you can imagine. But the immediate question is, why are they both there, tracking this weird crabby thing?
So it wasn't just a coincidence.
Turns out, no. They quickly realized they were both tracking different parts of the same object, this powerful three-headed staff that was trying to reassemble itself.
A three-headed staff. Greek and Egyptian symbols. Okay, so someone is orchestrating this. Who?
Well, the staff belongs to a figure named Serapis, and Serapis himself is the embodiment of this hybrid idea.
Describe Serapis for us.
He's huge, like 15 feet tall. Bronze skin, but it shimmers with tattoos that are both Greek letters and Egyptian hieroglyphs. He's got dreadlocks, sea green eyes, which is an interesting detail, very Percy Jackson. And he wears this thing on his head he calls a modius, but basically it looks like a flower pot.
A flower pot god. Got it. So where did he come from? Is he an ancient god nobody knew about?
No, and this is really important. Serapis isn't some forgotten ancient deity. He was created intentionally by Ptolemy I, Alexander the Great's general, way back.
Created. So hybrid magic isn't just accidental, it can be engineered.
That's the implication, yeah. And it seems inherently unstable or dangerous.
Yeah.
Serapis wasn't just happy being a god, he had massive ambitions. He wanted to rebuild the lighthouse of Alexandria, but in Rockaway Beach, Queens.
Rockaway Beach, okay, ambitious and geographically specific.
And his plan was to absorb the power, the of older gods, specifically Hades and Osiris. He wanted to replace them, essentially, and rule over all the pantheons, not just destroy, but incorporate and take over.
That sounds way more insidious than just fighting. It's like rewriting reality.
Exactly. It's a fundamental threat to the existing cosmic order. So the fight against him is pretty desperate. Annabeth uses her smarts, tries bluffing. Sadie uses these big, powerful Egyptian spells like one called Su-Fah, which means destroy or collapse.
Does it work?
It literally brings down a building wall on Serapis. But even that doesn't stop him completely. The key moment, the winning move, comes from Annabeth.
What does she do?
She figures out the staff is key. It has 3 heads, a lion, a wolf, and a dog, representing past, present, and future. She stabs the dog head, the future.
Ooh, symbolic.
And effective. Serapis just sort of implodes, defeated. And afterwards, Annabeth finds her magic Yankees cap. Her invisibility cap from her mother Athena has been restored, like a little nod of approval.
Job well done. But Serapis was created, you said, so defeating him doesn't necessarily stop the person who awakened him, right?
Precisely. The real mastermind steps out of the shadows soon after. An ancient Egyptian magician named Setne.
Setne, what's his deal?
He's apparently back from the dead, described by Percy Jackson rather unkindly as looking like a runty Elvis Presley. And crucially, he has the Book of Thoth, which is like the ultimate book of Egyptian magic. Insanely powerful.
Runty Elvis with the Book of Thoth.
Okay.
And his goal?
Even bigger than Serapis's. Setne wants to become a god himself. He thinks Ptolemy's creation of Serapis was flawed, a failed experiment. Setne plans to perfect that magic, using both Greek and Egyptian power sources to achieve apotheosis.
So he's actively trying to master hybrid magic for his own godhood.
Exact. And his first move, he consumes the essence of Wadjet, the Egyptian cobra goddess who guards the red crown of Lower Egypt.
He just eats a goddess's essence.
Apparently so. And things escalate fast. Next thing you know, Percy and Annabeth are caught on Governor's Island in the middle of a hurricane summoned by Setne, surrounded by his new pets, winged, fire-breathing snakes.
Winged fire snakes.
Right.
Definitely worse than cow manure.
Just slightly. But this attack, this clear escalation by Setne, forces something pretty unprecedented.
What's that?
Carter and Sadie Kane show up, the Egyptian magician, and they realize, along with Percy and Annabeth, that neither side can handle Setne alone. They have to work together. They form this unlikely task force.
Yeah.
Demigods and magicians.
A cross-mythological task force. That's fascinating. How does that even work? Do their powers mix?
They have to. They figure out pretty quickly they need hybrid attacks. For example, Annabeth tries to use Sadie's magician's wand, and it actually transforms in her hand into her own familiar weapon, a celestial bronze dagger.
Whoa. So the magic systems are interacting, adapting to the user.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
And it goes the other way, too. Sadie uses one of Annabeth's spells in ancient Greek command, no, which means like blast or lightning. And it works for her, maybe even stronger than a standard hieroglyph spell.
That's incredible. The potential seems huge, but also risky.
Extremely risky. And we see the dangerous side most clearly with Percy. To gain an edge, he agrees to host an Egyptian goddess,
Nekbet, the vulture goddess.
That's the one. Guardian of the White Crown of Upper Egypt. And Percy's experience hosting her is pretty horrifying. He's basically fighting a constant internal battle. Nekbet's worldview is ancient, incredibly cynical, almost predatory. She keeps thinking things like, the weak must die. And she has total disdain for Percy's heroic instinct. He's struggling just to hold on to himself, his own morality, against this raw, ancient power inside him. And he's not trained for this like the Kanes are.
Wow. That really shows the danger of mixing these forces without standing them. It's not just about power, it's about compatibility.
Absolutely. And the trust involved is immense. At another point, Sadie does something incredibly risky. She shared her her secret name, with Annabeth.
Her secret name? Isn't that like giving someone total power over you in Egyptian magic?
Pretty much. But doing so gives Annabeth temporary access to Sadie's power, boosting her own ability. It's this profound act of trust, showing just how much they need to rely on each other for this combined magic to work.
So trust becomes a key component of this hybrid approach. Okay, so they have these new hybrid tactics. Percy's dealing with Nekbet. How do they actually take down Setne on Governor's Island? He sounds pretty powerful by now.
Or he is. He's described as strip mining, the Duat, that's the magical dimension in Egyptian mythology, just tearing holes in reality to pull power into himself, blending Greek and Egyptian magic recklessly.
Yikes. So pure chaos magic.
Basically. But Percy, maybe helped by Nekbet's different perspective, figures out Setne's strategy. He realizes Setne is like a scavenger, exploiting everyone's deepest desires or weaknesses to get past their defenses.
Like what?
Like Annabeth's love of wisdom, Carter's desire to impress his dad, even Percy's own history. Remember, the Olympians offered him immortality once and he turned it down. Setne tries to use that.
Clever and devious. So how does Percy counter that?
With something really bold and kind of disgusting, actually. Setne had previously managed to absorb Percy's sword, Riptide. Percy literally shoves his hand into Setne's mouth and pulls his sword back out.
He does what?
Yeah. And pulling the sword out seems to unplug Setne. All the stolen chaotic magic he'd absorbed just starts gushing out of him. It's described as this grotesque, multicolored flood of raw power that basically unravels him.
Whoa. Okay, that's graphic.
Right.
And effective.
Very effective. It neutralizes Setne's power grab. Then the whole task force jumps in. Annabeth and Sadie work together on a kind of Greek-Egyptian containment spell. Carter uses a magical glowing rope. They manage to trap Setne's essence.
So they capture him. What happens to Runty Elvis?
Well, remember his grand plan to build a McPalace for himself as a new god? There's a bit of irony. They managed to trap his essence inside a snow globe.
A snow globe? Seriously?
His vast ambition reduced to a kitschy souvenir. A tiny palace and a glass ball.
Okay, that's quite an ending for him. So, victory. They stopped the hybrid god wannabe. Yeah. But it feels like something this big must have consequences, right? You can't just mix mythologies like that and then put everything neatly back in its box.
That's exactly the feeling you get from the source. The immediate threat is gone, but the idea of hybrid magic, the potential for it, the damage Setne did, that lingers.
And didn't Setne have some powerful artifact, the Book of Thoth, you said?
He did. But there was something else, too. The Crown of Ptolemy, the actual artifact combining Greek and Egyptian power that Serapis wore and Setne coveted. It's the key to the specific kind of godhood Setne was after.
And what happened to the crown? Did they destroy it, lock it away?
That's the really interesting part. After Setne's defeat, they just find it sitting there on Governor's Island. Wadjet and Nekbet, the goddesses whose essences Setne partly absorbed, they basically just leave it.
They just leave this incredibly powerful, potentially world-altering artifact lying around. Why?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was it a test? The sources sort of speculate about this. Was it the goddesses testing the heroes, seeing what they do with that kind of power, especially Percy, who famously refused godhood before?
That adds another layer entirely. So wrapping this up, what should you, listening to this, take away from this deep dive into colliding world?
I think it's a powerful metaphor, really. We live in a world where systems and cultures are constantly mixing, sometimes clashing, sometimes blending. Think about tech and biology, or different global influence.
Right. And these stories show both the incredible potential and the inherent dangers in that kind of fusion, especially when it's forced, like with Setne, versus collaborative, like with the task.
Exactly. What happens when you gain access to completely new kinds of power? What are the responsibilities that come with that? Especially power that could, fundamentally change the rules of the game.
So the final thought to leave you with might be this. Can these worlds, Greek and Egyptian, actually stay separate? The heroes, the task force, they hope so. They want to keep things compartmentalized to prevent more chaos.
But has Setne, with his forbidden magic, permanently opened the door? Did his experiment, even in failure, fundamentally alter the cosmic order? Is hybrid magic now a permanent fixture, whether they like it or not?
The door that